Hello everybody, it's Mr. Morphetto. How's everybody doing? How are my One Piece fans? I am just about to finish the Water 7 arc in the One Piece manga right now. I'm about 4 chapters away, and I'm sitting here on my recording day for recording these videos for you, the fans of the Morphetto page, the people I'm talking to the Abyss for. And I was thinking, man, I'm only 4 chapters away, but I'm not done, so I can't do my part 2 discussion on Water 7 just yet. I will probably save that for next week. But I am actually catching up in the One Piece anime, and I did watch the G-8 arc, the filler arc, the G-8, whatever you want to call it, the arc, the filler arc after Skypiea, mostly because a lot of you guys and a lot of people online said you need to watch this filler arc. It's actually worth watching. It actually feels canon. It doesn't feel sloppy. I have actually skipped a few different filler sections. They're very short. They don't have a lot of filler in One Piece, which I appreciate, and most of it is usually pretty funny for the most part, from what I've seen. I did skip a couple, because there was some that was just bugging the crap out of me, and I just kind of skipped on by and got to some canon material. Because once One Piece gets on a roll on canon material, it sticks on it for many, many episodes. But this G-8 arc was very fun. One of the funniest arcs that I've seen in the anime, to be honest. Like, from the beginning of the anime, the G-8 arc was very fun, and I felt like this was a great break between Skypiea, which was such a war. Skypiea felt huge. It felt like a climax. It felt like a war between 3 different factions: the Straw Hats, Eneru, and the Shandians. And it was so much, and like, it was stressful in a way. It like hurt your mind to think about what is going on, who's going to survive. Spoiler alert, pretty much everybody survives. I'm pretty sure everybody survives except characters that don't matter. But it felt like a lot of characters were going to actually die. And it had one of the most powerful villains so far with Eneru. And so now literally dropping into the G-8 arc in the anime. Of course, as you might know, in the manga, it skips straight to the Long Ring, Long Land arc after Skypiea. But this is like a little detour, and I really like it, to be honest. It was a lot of fun. The Straw Hats land in the middle of one of the strongest Navy fortresses, the G-8 Navy Command, whatever you want to call it, and they kind of get stuck there, and they realize really quickly where they are and that they might be a little screwed, so they abandon ship. They get spotlights on them. You know what's interesting about One Piece is the technology. They have spotlights. They have some things that don't make a lot of sense technology-wise, but then they also talk with snails, which is just wild. Just wild indeed. So they all get split up once again. What a surprise. It feels like every arc, the group, except for the Long Ring, Long Land arc, it feels like the group gets split up, and they have to find their way back to each other in almost every arc. And it's really fun because they usually split up in different pairs. Sometimes they end up in the same pairs, but this time it did feel like the groups were kind of split differently than usual. Luffy and Sanji were paired together. Chopper and Nami were paired together. Nico Robin and Usopp were paired together for a hot minute, and then Usopp and Zoro ended up paired together at the tail end of it. I love this current crew with Nico Robin, Chopper, Usopp, Zoro, Nami, Luffy, and Sanji. I feel like I'm so worried because I know that in the I know that in the Water 7, after the Water 7 arc, we're about to include a new member of the Straw Hats, and he's going to be joining the crew, and I just know this already. And I'm worried that it's going to change this dynamic that I love so much, because this group that they have right now is just perfect, and I feel like they have a great crew, and they don't really need anybody else. That's my feeling right now, and I assume, just like every other member of the crew, I'm going to fall in love with every one of them. But this here in the G-8 arc really encompasses this group here. They all get to go do their thing. They all get to have a good time, and we get to have a good time. And knowing that it's a filler arc, I know nothing major is going to happen, so I got to put my feet up and relax and just enjoy. There was a really funny bit with Luffy and one of the Navy soldiers where he was like he's trying to look for him, and he's behind him giving peace signs to the camera, and it was hilarious. Laugh out loud, hilarious. One of my absolute favorite parts of this entire filler arc was Luffy and Sanji as a duo. I honestly think I prefer Luffy and Sanji paired together than Luffy and Zoro paired together, because Zoro's kind of just the straight man, usually very serious, sometimes funny, but usually very serious, usually straight to the point. And I just love the combination of Luffy's goofiness and Sanjiisms. I don't know, and it all kind of kicked off back when Sanji and Luffy first met, but now it's just amplified in this arc, them being paired together, especially them getting paired together and being cooks together. And they were mistaken because a new group of I believe a new group of Navy soldiers show up around the same time that the Straw Hats show up, and they're expecting two new very good cooks, and they mistake Sanji and Luffy for these cooks, and it's absolutely amazing. One, Luffy is hilarious, eating food, almost eating more food than Sanji can make, but luckily he can make a lot of food very quickly. And it gives me a lot of... I love the fact that we actually get to see Sanji in his element in the food world. I love seeing him fight people with his badass kicks and whatnot, and I love that. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes it feels like they skip past the fine details of his cooking, and that to me is what I want to see. Like, if he's going to cook something for Nami and Nico Robin, and he's going to give the scraps to Luffy and Usopp and Chopper, I want to see him cook this amazing food. It's just, as a cook myself, it's just fun to watch, and it makes me happy to see, I guess. That's one of the reasons I really like Sanji, is because he does the profession I do, but much better than me, of course. And he obviously impresses everybody with being the best cook on the crew, at least in the Navy, when they're pretending to be Navy cooks. And it's funny because one of the Navy officers asks, what's going on with the other guy, Luffy? Because Sanji's doing all the cooking, and Sanji's like, oh no, his job is to taste test everything. And he really was just taste testing everything. Another aspect I really liked about this is Chopper actually got a big moment as a doctor. He got to do his thing as well. Nami kind of got relegated to being his nurse, but she also helped out, I guess. Chopper got paired up with Nami as Nami was originally running around trying to figure out what to do. She kind of had a few different disguises, but ended up being a nurse for Chopper, who was pretending to be a doctor, which literally makes no sense that they would think that he's an actual doctor. But he helps out the actual crew's doctor, who's like a pediatrician, who's just there to replace the original doctor, who's just not there, on vacation or something. I can't really remember, but she's not good with blood or anything of importance. She does children doctoring. And so Chopper is there, and he helps save a bunch of Navy soldiers, and he takes charge. If I remember correctly, Nami even was like, "We need to get out of here, Chopper." And Chopper's like, "No, I'm a doctor, and I'm going to save these people. I don't care if there are enemies or what." Another thing that's really interesting with this arc that I really like about the story that really has been taking fold since the Long Ring Long Land arc is the fact that's really making me think about this is that the Navy are technically the good guys and the pirates are supposed to be the bad guys, and we're kind of in this weird world where, the government's, some of it's bad and some of it's good. A lot of these soldiers became Navy officers because they wanted to do good. And some of them probably started that way and became corrupt. And you see that in this whole group and whatnot. Nico Robin goes undercover and takes the place of one of the special investigators that happened to be on the ship around the same time. I think Investigator Shepard or something, and she's just badass doing it right. It was funny because Usopp tried to do the same thing and failed utterly, and it was hilarious because they were interrogating him, and they were like, "What's this?" And he's like, "It's a secret, it's a secret, it's a secret." And I just thought that was funny. And then when Nico Robin shows up, he's like, "We're actually investigating together." And she's like, "I don't know who he is." And then Usopp gets thrown into friggin' jail along with Zoro, who basically gets captured from the get-go. And it's funny because when Usopp gets thrown into their holding cells with Zoro, I'm surprised they put him in the same holding cell. Maybe they only have one, but I would have separated them if I was the Navy, keep them from working together. But Zoro mentions maybe Nico Robin had you come here because she knew I was here, and if anything bad happened, I would save you because Zoro's just a badass that just can't be taken down. I'm not sure if Zoro can be killed at this point in the story, to be honest. He can probably kick anybody's ass with just his feet. Zoro really gets the short end of the stick here, but it's nice that, he doesn't really have anything special to do. He's not a doctor, he's not a cook. He's really the bodyguard of the crew, and when shit goes down, he's ready to fight. And that's what he does. He fights and he sleeps and he drinks. That's the Zoro. There should be a t-shirt that says that, and like a Zoro t-shirt. Fight, drink, sleep, repeat. I really liked the Commander Jonathan, I believe his name was. Very laid back, strategic. He was the villain of this, or the antagonist of this arc. But he seemed very suspicious the entire time. So laid back, never really sweated a damn thing. It felt like a big chess game to him, trying to capture the Straw Hats. I mean, when the boat arrives, the crew thinks it's a ghost ship or some shit. They find the gold that they got from Skypiea, and he strategically takes that gold. He was very interesting, and I was thinking, man, are they going to pull something where this dude was actually a pirate, or was a pirate? And because he seems so laid back and not caring, and he's just like, well, we'll catch him, don't worry, just relax. Oh, and I forgot to mention, Nico Robin went undercover as the investigator Shepard, and that dude got thrown into jail with Usopp and Zoro because they thought he was a member of the Straw Hats. And it was very funny because he was telling the people guarding them, I'm actually a Navy, I'm in the Navy with you, and if you don't let me out, I'm going to friggin' get you written up and whatnot. And Usopp comes up with this amazing idea of pretending like he's part of the crew. I think they called him Condoriano, something like that. And I thought that was hilarious. They were like, oh, classic Condoriano. And I thought that was hilarious and very funny, and it helped, Nico Robin be undercover. Another thing that I liked, after everything kind of broke down and the crew was trying to escape the first time, they have to fight a bunch of Navy men, and they kind of make it sound like they're going to get the best of the best to come fight the crew, but it just turned out to just be a lot of soldiers. I thought that was fun, and it was cool, seeing Luffy and Zoro and Sanji do their thing, and Usopp fight like one guy. But they're all kicking ass, taking names, they're all like unstoppable as usual, the trio, and then Usopp's doing him. And I love this other part before they get into the fight. They know is going to be a trap. Usopp's like, if you guys get captured, I'm not gonna help you. And then they're running, and he's like, but you'll help me if I get in trouble, right? I thought that was great. They get in this big fight with this horde of nobodies, and I thought it would be really cool if I was thinking when they were talking about bringing in the best of the best to fight the Straw Hats, I was like, well, what if they have like a Ginyu Force style group, like just for this filler arc, like just as like a tribute to the amazing Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball. Like, what if they have like 5? I really hope this happens some point during the series. I don't care if it's filler or if it's canon. They should have like 5 goofball Navy men that are just... Well, I know a lot of the characters are actually pretty goofy, but just a Ginyu Force tribute, and I think that would be freaking amazing, one. And it'd be fun just to see them all fight them. Like, they all have a certain quirk. One of them can be fast, like Birder. One of them can be super strong and endurable, like Raccoon. One of them can have a weird devil fruit ability, like stopping time with their holding their breath, like Goldo. One of them could have a body change gimmick. I don't know. They could bring that into the show at some point. That'd be cool. Somebody who can take people's body. That'd be an interesting devil fruit ability, honestly. I don't know what they'd call it. The switch fruit, or the body change fruit, the change fruit. Ooh, or something to that effect. But I was disappointed that they didn't have like a villain that they could fight. They could have just made somebody up, and I know it's a filler arc, and they're not putting that much... They put a lot of effort into this one, to be honest, but it would have been really cool to see them have epic battles with like characters that look like they mattered and they could actually be a threat, when really, except for Commander Shepard, who is really just... Or not Commander Shepard, Commander Jonathan, who was really just being a strategic... commander, he wasn't much of a physical threat, in my opinion, and nobody really matched up to Zoro, Luffy, or Sanji. And I feel like they needed a group of elites that were going to come fight them on that bridge instead of that horde of Navy men. That would have been so much fun, even if it turned out just to be a goofball fight. But to see them go at it would have been a blast, especially if they did the poses. That's what I was assuming was going to happen, and obviously it didn't happen, and that's just something I wanted to... my mind was like, ooh, if they have this elite group of Power Ranger Navy men, I don't know. It's a weird idea, but I think it'd be fun. Another thing I noticed about this arc, and maybe it's just because I'm watching this on the Funimation app, but as soon as we got to the G-8 arc, the art looked crisp. Like, everything looked beautiful. Like, everything went from... I don't know. Everything went HD, and I got widescreen. I don't know. It just looked different. It looked cleaner. I'm not sure. If you can tell me in the comments what happened, maybe I'm imagining things, but everything looked cleaner. The movements of the characters, everything looked a little more vibrant. It's not like it bugged me before, but now that I see this, it reminds me of more recent anime than the old. It kind of reminded me of like old 90s anime before this, and now it's gotten a little more 2.5D in a way in certain scenes. Like, there's a scene where Usopp is like telling Nico Robin off, and he's just like, I'm gonna get the group, and I'm gonna save everybody, and I'm gonna save the merry-go, and then she like summons a bunch of hands on a tree and shuts his ass up because he's being too loud. He's gonna get captured, and I thought that was a great scene for one, and just holds him there. Nico Robin is can be overpowered as shit. I love her being part of this crew. She's one of the strongest female characters in the show so far. I really, really hope she gets an epic battle, even if it's a filler fight. She deserves an epic battle with somebody important that matters, like somebody, like a number 2 at a villain crew. I don't know. I just think it'd be very cool. But all in all, the G-8 arc was very fun. They get away, obviously. It links back up with the main story, and they get to the Long Ring, Long Land arc. There was a little bit of a twist in the middle of it where they get away, and then something happens where they find out that they have all the gold, and they have to go back and get the gold, and it was pretty cool. Nami and Sanji got to pair up, and they were funny together and whatnot. Nami got to be a big part of getting the gold back. There was a really weird episode where they just did a big recap of what they've been through that kind of felt like half canon, half not. I don't know. That part was like, okay, I thought we were done with this. I guess we're going back to get the gold. I don't know. Commander Jonathan was very laid back and weird, and it just seemed like he had more of a story to tell than that got told. Maybe I just expected more. He didn't seem so like, I hate pirates. He seemed like he understood where Luffy was coming from. He's like, you are not a terrible person, basically, and you care about your crew. They also were leaning hard on the fact that the Marigo was heavily damaged, but also really well loved by Usopp and the rest of the crew, because they're leaning into what's going to happen in Water 7, which like I said, I'm already almost done with. And that they're trying to push the fact that the Marigo is about to go downtown, pretty much. She's been condemned to being torn apart or something by some shipwrights eventually, is what I'm getting from the Water 7 arc. But they were teasing it. But yeah, I really enjoyed the G-8 arc. What did you guys think of the G-8 arc? I honestly, if you're only a manga reader or you skip all the filler, I suggest you go watch this, because it really almost felt like a movie. If this was just a movie called the One Piece G-8, I think I wouldn't have been disappointed if I got it for $5 or something and watched the whole thing. I'm like, this is like a good little movie. I think the only thing it's missing is a strong fight. They did have a couple fight scenes with some nobodies, but a really strong fight. I know there was some really cool parts with Luffy bouncing bullets back and whatnot, and Zoro and Sanji doing their thing. But I really wanted some major villain. I feel like if all they had was, I mean, of course, Jonathan, but if they had some group of villains for the crew to fight in one-on-one battles or group fights, I think that would have been very fun, and it would have made this a legit movie arc that people could go watch on its own, stand alone. They don't even need to watch anything else but this from the point they get to G8 to the end, and have a good time. I had a great time. Tell me if you had a good time in the comments. Please like, share, comment, please subscribe to the Mr. Morfetto page. Tell your friends. I'm trying to build up. I want to get to 200 subscribers so bad. I'll talk to you later.